You know I'm a hustler, hustler. You know I'm a hustler, hustler.
Hey, it's me again, back again with another episode with a special guest today. His name is Michal Stawicki, uh, and he is an expert in advertising and have a business in advertising and also an expert in hiring and also an expert in data analytics. So today I bring him on to talk about a little bit about his journey and how advertising, hiring, and looking at the data can be impactful to the business. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
So we talked a little bit earlier about how you started your advertising agency as a side gig, and then how it became your main gig after. Talk to me a little bit about that journey.
Uh, I started even before that when I self-published myself many books, and that's why I learned how to do Amazon ads. And then I started offering this service in 2017. First to just folks in the space who already knew me, and it was an easy sell. They didn't want to do it themselves. I could do it. And back then, basically, everything worked. It's like Alex Hormozy talking about his gym and that he learned Facebook ads in 2012 or 13. So everything was working back then. It was easy. And I gradually quit my day job, started working half-time after a year, quarter time, and frankly, I stayed that just for the sake of benefits rather than salary or security or anything. And yeah, it's my main gig. I still earn a trickle of book royalties from my books. I have a coaching practice. Actually, I work a lot with people who started the business or want to start a business, and I'm like mentoring them. So I don't tell them what to do sometimes, yeah, when I know the solution, but help them explore what are their paths, and most importantly, I serve as the accountability board, yeah, because it's so easy to be stuck in your own head and like I'm going in my mind through my clients, yeah, about no one had a team, yeah, so being solo and doing something like you are the business and you need to take care of yourself and you are like sentenced to your own resources unless you reach out, tap into your network and do something more.
Oh man, it seemed like you had a great life, you know, from writing books, which is an accomplishment to a lot of people. Um, and then having royalty pay from your books and having a coaching practice and having an advertising agency and mentoring people. How you do all that? How do you fit all that into your schedule?
So mostly I do it very part-time, including my business. And right now I'm trying to grow it, so I'm trying to work more, but it's still like half-time. Like that's partly my health, I guess. It's been like 5 years. I'm low energy all the time. So there may be some affection. I'm into that, but so that's half half time my business, and then I don't have many clients right now. I think two or three. So having one call a week is with one is not a big burden. Books I left on autopilot, so I'm not writing anymore now. And it's like, I would say it's not that I did everything at once. I had a period when I coach about 100 people over 2 years, something like that. So I was then involved in coaching, but that was a period. The same with writing books. I wrote them for like 8 years, writing every day, half an hour a day. And then it's then now it's like part of my skill set, writing, and it's pretty handy when it comes to advertising books. Because on Amazon, in Amazon ecosystem, your book page, so your book description is like the focal point of the whole advertising. People land on that page and then they decide if they will buy or not. So I'm helping to write correct book description for my clients. So it seems like a lot, but if you spread it over the years and build one on top of the another, like my writing / advertising career. Yeah, first I had books. I explored this niche myself. Okay, it actually increases book sales, so now I have something to offer to others.
What do you feel like the biggest challenge it was for you to write a book?
I think the biggest challenge was at the very beginning to like give myself permission for that. Yeah, to decide, okay, it's been my experience, so I can write about it. Because my books are like that, changing mindset or keeping good health or overcoming shyness. It's all based on my experience. So like I remember it was like a month into my career, so I started writing, yeah, and I asked in the Facebook group, okay, guys, should I need a pen name? Because my name is hard to spell by Americans, and they gave me cons and pros, but I analyzing what they said, I recognize, okay, I'm just not sure of myself. I'm not confident. That's why. So giving myself permission was the hardest thing. Then writing book is fun. Editing is less of fun for me. But I know my peers who writing is hard process, but then editing it 10 times, no problem. That's what they love. And then marketing is really a challenge and for many authors, and I can attest to that because that's why I have a business. A lot of authors are like, yeah, I wrote a book, but what should I do with it? And they think of selling and being sleazy and pushy, and they don't want to do that.
So would you say that that the hardest thing in writing a book is giving yourself permission? So I can relate this back to like business owner want to grow their business or want to start something. They believe that they're not good enough with the experiences that they have, or there are some business owner that have some success in their field, but they feel like they're not qualified enough to talk about it. They're not qualified enough to transfer that knowledge down into paper and share it because they think that, oh, it's just my experience. It's probably don't help nobody. But in reality, if you can get the business, do the business, and get paid, you have some sort of experience. You have some sort of knowledge. You have some sort of success um, that you could share with the world, in my opinion. But I've been contemplating myself on writing a book for over a year, and I know for a fact that I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know that. That the thing is, what if I write this and nobody would read it, right? So that's the fear that I face with, when thinking about, transferring my knowledge down to something, codify it into something that people can consume, per se.
Okay, so let me assure you, some people will read it. Your mother,
Yeah.
for example. And seriously, I wrote a few books just for myself. And I didn't hit the market, but they still sold something. Like my least selling book probably sold less than 1,000 copies. But they still sold something because I was writing about human experience, and like this section of the human experience was interesting for small group of people. But yeah, and I attest to what you said. Like if you are a business owner who actually can do something and collect money, like you are above the whole society. Seriously, like all employees being an owner, founder of a company versus being an employee, like it's 10 times more skills you need to have, and plus management, plus casting vision and inspiring people, and many others. So yep, definitely each entrepreneur should write a book.
That's what one of my coaches keep pushing me to write a book, because I do a little bit of Facebook posting, and she told me that every one single one of your Facebook posts can be a book. Every single section of your Facebook post can be a book. And I like writing. I just don't know why I haven't, you know, I think I haven't developed that discipline to sit down and write maybe like 2 pages a day, you know. And maybe it's all up here. It's just like when like when you first decided to hire a person, is and then you fail. So the next time it should be easier, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's twice harder because of the emotional baggage that you suffer for the first time. But in actuality, when you do it, it's easier because you already learned from the mistake. But it's just getting over the emotional fear is is what's hard for a lot of people. That's why people give up on hiring after one first few wrong hire. Oh my God, no, can nobody do what I tell them? Blah 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 blah. So what do you have to say about the fears, overcoming the fear of writing book? How about is that fear kind of similar to overcoming the fear of hiring?
Yeah, in nature, it's emotional, like you said. Yeah, it's something you think of yourself, or you are afraid others will think of you. Like it's all in the realm of imagination and order in the future, and about your self-worth, not about the subject matter and really the technical aspect of the writing and etc. Those things are your excuses to tell, okay, I don't have an English degree, so I cannot write. Sorry. Excuses, but in the core, yeah, it's emotional reaction. It's fear, and fear is mostly unreasonable. So the way to tackle the fear is actually to face it. And in that case, it's not really okay. So I will write and publish the book. It's talking with yourself. What's going on here? Why I'm hesitant, and where? That's even more important question. Where can I get support and confirmation that yeah, I'm a material for writer? Like you said, all your Facebook posts are getting engagement, and they are solid stuff, and people are telling you that, oh, that's enough of proof to start.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I'll have a book by January.
Because like the difference between hiring and writing a book is writing is optional unless you are a writer, and that's seriously, if you want to make money as a writer, you should publish a book every so often. But in case of hiring, it's like if you don't hire, you are stuck. Period. Yeah. So it's necessity. It's like circumstances will overcome your fear at one day.
Yeah, I think this year I've done a lot of hiring. I think last year I only have 4 people together, including myself and the other founder. And this year we tripled the size of the team. So, but I mean, once I thought I was the only person that sell from a business because nobody can sell better than I am, right? And once I hire a few guys they're sales guy, right? And like, oh, so I'm not that good. So now I'm addicted to building people who then can build my business. So now I'm moving more towards a leadership role and you know, like I say, casting the vision, transferring the conviction, building a big picture to where I can attract top talent in and it's much more a fun game that way, I feel like, you know. So but there has to be the mindset shift that happened because last year I hired 2 sales guy didn't work out. And then I almost give up. But like you say, I'm stuck. I'm the only person that can generate revenue within my business. And there's no way is that sustainable. No way I can do 5, 6 appointment, in-home appointment a day. There ain't no way. And then the marketing effort works. So I have the lead to come in. I just can't convert them like I'm supposed to. And then when, in sale, when you're too slow, somebody else gonna get the deal. When you book out 2, 3 weeks, so it's a necessity for me to bring more people in, teach them what I know and let them take their skill and put that to bring it up even higher. So it take me 3 try to find somebody right for the sales role. So
Happens, and hiring is a tricky process. But I bet now you're much better in hiring than a year ago.
yeah, it is I feel like every position that I try to hire, I have to I have to make one wrong hire. And that one wrong hire expose the gap in my processes, my system, my SOP, and then you have to implement that before you bring on somebody else. So every time you bring somebody on, the process get a little bit better, a little bit better. Now, in my experience, is um, you don't need like a lot of people think that they have to have everything together for somebody to come in and help you, and that's not the case with me. You just need somebody that want you to succeed and buy in with the vision, so they can help you build the whole thing up. And it's a much easier lift that way to have every processes, every scenario figure out all that because things, there's if I know one thing, there's 2 things that always changes in business is people and processes. There's 2 things that always need consistent work on. So yeah, it's been a fun journey and talk to me about how important is data in running your advertising agency.
Yeah, like I'm a proponent of fractional hiring because this is what I've done. Yeah, this is my experience, especially if like you like me, you are busy. So full-time job, for example, that was where I started. And then I have 3 kids. I was commuting almost 2 hours in one direction. So I didn't have much time. And then, okay, I taught my son how to create ads. And suddenly I had a few spare hours a week. And then I hired my first assistant to help with few specific things, posting, formatting blog posts, articles, and this is how I went from one helper to another. Then I had few people doing that, so I trained my sister how to organize ordering of those. Okay, this project, then next, then next. So she was my manager for a while, and this is so liberating because when you are so pressured with your time, you can now, and you free up 2 hours. It feel like big relief. You can sleep more, for example, or do other more important work in that time. And this is how it morphed. Now I barely go into ads accounts to do anything. Sometimes, not quite often, just to have a look. Okay, what's going on? But the ads job is done by my people, and I'm like you. I'm the only salesman so far here, so I'm doing the sales. That's the biggest return on my time nowadays. Because if I don't sell, this company will not grow.
Yeah, I feel like as a business owner, we we have to elevate, always elevate out of every bucket of business, marketing, sales, operation, production. What else is there? Finance and recruiting. So for small business, they can only have sales and acquisition and fulfillment. But as you grow bigger, it breaks into more department. But I personally now I don't want to be in any of those buckets. I don't want to physically do anything. And what I want to do is just coach people within my business to be able to execute on the vision, the mission of the vision, and carry out our core values. Um, and that's awesome, man. That's awesome that it seemed like you had a fulfilling life and overcoming a lot of fear and now that you're coaching people, try to give back to the community. What out of your all of your venture, entrepreneurial venture, which one of it has give you the most satisfaction?
Oh, it's really hard to tell. Have you got more than one business before?
No, actually, this is my first business. So I used to do marketing for a corporation, and then COVID hit. I get laid off, and
Mm-hmm.
then one thing happened. I never been in construction before, but one thing happened. I kind of fell into it and started a business out of it because
Yeah,
you
so
know,
I ask because entrepreneurs say that businesses are like kids. Yeah, you are attached to them, and they are dear to your heart, and it's hard to pick between kids, right? And the same authors are saying about their books. So like I really found very fulfilling moments in each and every thing I've done. Reading a review that like this is the first book I read in 20 years and it changed my life. Like that's the best thing you can read about your book. Or coaching a gal and now she's super successful. Her revenue skyrocketed. She's so confident. She's starting new things. She's on fire. Like seeing that, it's the reward in itself. Um, and when it comes to resurrecting books, my book advertising agency, I'm proud of the business itself. Like, okay, I've built it from ground up, and now I have people who understand the job roles and who are engaged and who are doing good work for our customers. Uh, yeah, so that's shortly, one by one, what I feel about my businesses.
I see your eye lit up when I asked about that question because based on your answer, I can tell that you are a man with purpose. You're a man with clarity in what you want to do with your life, and that in and then this is my first business, but I'm not saying it will be a last business. I do a little coaching here and there, run a few mastermind, but it's nothing that like I'm not Tony Robbins, but we had a few success, and I think that's what gives me the most satisfaction is changing the trajectory of people's life, changing like their income level,
Mm-hmm.
changing how they view themselves, changing changing their, most of the small guy that first started out, it's not about a skill or anything like that. They probably research all the skill and how to do a certain thing, but most of the time it's just the mindset that need to be flipped a little bit. And most of the time it's just like quit thinking, just start doing. And then, as you grow a little bit more where it's require a little bit more strategy, then we can work on that. But most of the time I coach people a lot about, how to believe in yourself, how to have conviction in your vision, how to transfer that conviction to your client and to the people that around you that you're trying to get into your ecosystem. Because what I know is when I first started out, I didn't know construction, but I could still sell because I believe in myself, right? I have a conviction that I can make this stuff work. And basically, I'm just selling myself at that point because people don't buy if they don't believe in you. People just don't. They don't buy until they believe that you can do it. You can do it, and you ever listen to Jesse Isler?
Nope.
He's he started like Marquis Jets and had Zico, but he's basically a big time entrepreneur, kind of like Hormozy status. And one of the quote that I really like about that what he say is be unrealistic in your thinking, be unrealistic in your dream, because realistic people get realistic result. Unrealistic people get unrealistic result, which is the bigger you dream, then the bigger you can achieve. You are limited to the amount of vision that you have, right? If you think you only can do $5 million in sales a year, that's probably what you will do eventually. But if you think you can do $50 million in sales, then you might miss the goal, but you still end up with $40 million in sales because that is the new floor that you raise for yourself. So yeah, I thought that was really inspiring, hearing him talk about that. So
Okay,
so
so I
that's
have a great story about it.
yeah.
Because one year I set my yearly goals, wrote them down, and the next day I asked myself, okay, how much of it I actually believe can happen? And so I wrote the answer. And then a year later, I stumbled on my goals and that entry my journal, and I was blown away because I achieved exactly what I believed I can achieve. Subconscious mind, it is steering you, not the other way around, unless you actually get the steering wheel and don't let it go day after day after day. We need to be conscious and intentional to realize those unrealistic visions. But yeah, first you need to have the vision to start following it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest part of entrepreneur is is having a vision and having clarity to the vision. How are you going to get there, and what does it take to get there, and who do you need to bring into the organization to be able to move to that level? Because as a new player in the industry, we double every year, and I mean, I think next year we still going to take a year to implement processes and hiring leaders and all that stuff, and pretty much I will have a machine that will run without me by the end of next year, but that doesn't happen without a clear vision. Because there's people in the game, in the construction game, and in the business game. 5 years later, 10 years later, they're still a single operator, which they do the marketing, they do the sale. They might have a couple agency who help them out here and there, but they still do the project managing, and they still collecting money. So in all reality, they never break that $1 million mark here. And then when you think about the average net profit that a construction company pull in, which is about 10 to 15%, that never break that mark. But the problem that I see that people at that stage is suffering from is they do not want to let go of control, and they think they are better at actually executing that rather than fighting outside help, hiring coaches, get another set of eyes out here to look at themselves and to remove this tunnel vision that they have to be able to break out through that. And uh and some of the stuff that I deal with is exactly that. People It's so hard for people to change their belief system around a preconceived notion that they cannot do it.
Yeah, and Michael Gerber in MF gave this division between like manager, uh, craftsman, and entrepreneur. Yeah, so people who like doing the job, they often are reluctant to grow because then it means they will do less of what they are liking to do. So I guess they are not real entrepreneurs. They're all self-employed. Yeah, that's the right choose of words.
Um, but I mean, really, I think that if you have a business, you have more control than you think you do. You control the input, you can control the marketing input, you can control the sales input, you can control the pricing input. You can't control the output, but you can control a lot of input, and there's a lot of little level where you can manipulate to get the result that you want. You can crap up a budget however you want. It's just got to be enough money in there to support the growth. So, and especially in the industry like our industry, or in Amazon industry, or in any kind of product industry that people will buy repeatedly, like people will always need housing. People will always need a roof. Amazon is not going to go out of business tomorrow. So people will always need that. And so the demand already there. It's just how do you create an ecosystem, uh, a framework to where you can capitalize the most amount possible. And I have a lot of friend, a lot of marketing agency that I don't know how close is Romania to you, but one
Close
one of the
enough.
yeah,
I was there once.
one of the guy that run ads for me and do my SEO and stuff, he's from Romania, but he crafted a business that is location free.
Mm-hmm.
So he moved to, I think, the one of the island by Spain. I don't know what, and now he moved to Bali, and he still run a multi-million-dollar marketing agency. because he had the vision. He has the vision, and that's what he want to do. And throughout my past 3 years, whenever I write something down on paper, and then when I look back at the 3 years, it's almost come very, very close to that goal. I say I was gonna do a million, did a million. I was gonna do three, I did three. Gonna do five, did five. And this year I say I was gonna do 10, but we might fail a little bit short of that. But I'm okay with 9.5. So so every year I feel like we should set a goal that challenges ourselves enough, but not to our reach to where you just don't do anything at all, right?
Yeah. Well, entrepreneurship is such a creative occupation, and because it's what you describe is creating, it's fierce vision, then executing to realize that vision, and often when you have the vision, you have no clue how to realize it. Yeah, you just start. Yeah. That's a good thing to share on this podcast. Like I listened at once Brian Tracy, and he told about um, a big research they did over like 2 decades with hundreds, if not thousands, of business, because they try to determine what makes a business successful. Yeah, what are the businesses that are sticking around after 10 years? Yeah, and basically the answer they came up with was they get started and keep going. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I think planning is overrated. I never have a business plan. I don't have a business plan. I don't care too much about a business plan. And I know a little bit about accounting and all that stuff, but I think beside all the number is the intangible that make the company great. It's the culture, right? Can you get people to buy into the vision? Can you get people to give 110% for you when they're here? Can you give people an emotional paycheck that's worth it? Because sometimes, like, especially in our country, in the US, sometimes money doesn't matter that much. Sometimes the difference between $150,000 salary for a sales guy or 200,000 salary. I know it's 50,000, but at 150,000, most of their basic needs are taken care of. They have a little bit left over. So, but they're spending about 10 to 12 hours a day at their job. Is that the job that they like, or they can just like, oh, fuck this, man. I'll take 50% less. I'll take 33% less. I'll go work at something else that uh that
Fits
that
the
have
vision you have for your life.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
really it.
Yeah. So there, yeah, a lot of people that I've hired, we we've either changed their life to the financial status, or we have like I have one person that worked for me. He used to own two bars, and he had like big businesses back in the day, but now he worked for us because he don't want to do that anymore. It fit with the lifestyle that he want to have now, is having no worry, having no control over the finance of the company, because that kind of shit could stress you out in an instant. Like,
Oh,
worrying about
yes.
cash flow. Hey, this
And
person,
how to pay salary and paying you out of your pocket. Someone said that if you are not an entrepreneur if you haven't done it at least once.
yeah, in the beginning we do a lot of it, but later on when we establish ourselves, I always tell people, especially here, that when you're well and off, you should probably go get a couple credit line, because when you're not well, when you need cash, when you need money to pay people, you ask for it, they ain't gonna give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
When you need the job, you're not gonna get it. When you don't need the job, you get it. right? So me, like right now, I am hitting up a lot of banks. I'm asking them, hey, can I have credit line? If they say no, move down until somebody give me one, because with credit over here, you don't have to pay interest within the first 30 days. So if you can have 4 or 5 of them, then you can just kind of cash flow yourself out of the cycle. So, but not a lot of people think that far or plan that far. That's why I don't need planning, because I can quote unquote use other people money. That's why this is. I always tell my friend who run the marketing agency, he has to do everything with cash. And that is one of the horrendous thing ever. Over here, we borrow money to do shit. We borrow money to buy truck. We borrow money to,
Hmm.
buy property, because property are government backed. So you have tax advantages and benefits. So they actually want you to do all this stuff. Otherwise, they're gonna tax the living shit out of you. You don't do this, you're gonna get taxed. You don't do this, you're gonna get taxed. So yeah, man, it's been a great journey. And if you have one advice for people right now that they're like this, oh man, should I go do this? Should I go do this thing I've been wanting to do? I mean, I'm still working here. They're still paying me good money. I mean, it's not great money, but I really want to do this thing over here, because that's what I wanted to do ever since I was a little kid. But I can't, because I have this over here that paying me this much money. What advice do you have for those people?
Okay, the reality is, I heard that on a podcast which was dedicated to side hustle and people starting something on the side while working full-time job. The reality is that the shiny stories we see on the internet are just the top of an iceberg. So it's not common that you will quit your job and next year you have $1 million business. It's the common way, the way especially for a responsible adult. I was 33 when I started to do something with my life. 3 small kids, mortgage to pay, and so on. You don't do crazy shit in that situation. So, okay, here is the point I was arriving to. Gradually moving from your day job to your new business is a way that 80% of people are doing in reality. If you ask, people who now have, like me, I have my business full-time 2 years. So ask people who have those full-time businesses for a few years. Most of them will tell you it took some time. It took years. For me, overall, it took over a decade, a decade, almost exactly to the day. From the moment I woke up and decided I will do something with my life to the moment that I could really cover my life. I quit my day job and I dedicated full time to the things I want to do, not some other person. So this is normal. This is normal. It's not either or. Start something on the side. If you can start something on the side, make it work, collect cash for something you are doing, you are an entrepreneur worthy. Amen.
Hey, Michal, thank you so much for coming on. It's a great conversation. Keep in touch, add me on Facebook or whatever. I will probably write a book by early next year, because I can compile all my Facebook posts, and there's a book already. So I will codify that, put it in the language that people can understand, and if I need some help publishing, I'll reach out to you.
All right.
All right, man. Hey, thank you. Appreciate you.
It was an honor. Thank you for having me.
You know I'm a hustler. hustler. You know I'm a hustler.